The Florida Panthers are playing some very good hockey lately and winning most of their games, but there's some extracurricular activities taking place that we'll need to follow up on. Armando Velez of Locked On Florida Panthers joins us to break it all down for you next on the Locked On NHL Podcast.
You're Locked On NHL, your daily podcast on the National Hockey League. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome, everybody, to the Monday edition of the Locked On NHL Podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I want to thank everyone who makes Locked On NHL your first listen every day. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts so you can get new episodes as soon as they drop. Today's episode is brought to you by Sleeper. Download the Sleeper app and use promo code LOCKEDONNHL to get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. It is my pleasure to welcome back to the show the host of Locked On Florida Panthers, the one and only Mondo Man, Armando Velez. And Armando, another win for the Panthers on Sunday. Pretty consistent winning lately, but some extracurriculars going on that going to need to be followed up. What are you hearing right now?
Yeah, as we're recording this, 9:40 p.m. on a Sunday night, Eric Gudbranson will be having a hearing tomorrow under Rule 46.2 aggressor for the altercation that happened with Nick Cousins on Sunday afternoon at Nationwide Arena. So now looking at it, and from this whole game in general for the Panthers and the Blue Jackets, as far as specifically on that one. Everything as far as everything that escalated, you have to go back to with a minute left in the first period where Gudbranson had a hit up high on the far side on Nick Cousins with about a minute left. And it's crazy because the second period for the Panthers and the Blue Jackets, no goals, not a lot of activity going on. The Panthers only surrendered 5 shots on goal in the second period, and then everything within the first 30 seconds. And even the broadcast for the Panthers mentioned that about the Panthers' last penalty-free game that happened, which happened in 2017 against the Arizona Coyotes, and then all that altercation happens and all. But thankfully, most importantly, Nick Cousins is okay as far as that.
Yeah, that obviously is very good news to hear. And look, this team has been winning a lot lately. They're getting healthier. Talk to me about what the keys are to the success in recent games for the Florida Panthers.
It's been for the Panthers. It's really mostly been about the defensive side of the puck for them. And it's crazy because of how what they were just a few years ago, over 4 goals a game and all the run and gun style, and then having to change all the growing pains that happened last season, not getting their first 3-game winning streak until late January or early February. Now we've seen the Panthers have quite a lot of them after Sunday's game against the Columbus Blue Jackets. That's a 3-game winning streak right then and there for the Panthers. But it's crazy because it's really what the Panthers have done 5-on-5, and also the goaltending. Both the goaltenders, Ant Stolarz and Sergei Bobrovsky, are at a 912, 913 save percentage around there. And that's the performance that you need to have on the defensive side. But it also comes down to that top line for the Florida Panthers. The grouping mostly of Sam Reinhart and Alexander Barkov together. And they've had to have Evan Rodriguez and Carter Verhaeghe switch in and out here and there on the top line. The last 2 games the last game and a half has had Verhaeghe on that top line, but it's really been Sam Reinhart and Alexander Barkov really clicking. Barkov is at a plus 20, which leads the NHL, which is tied for the NHL lead in plus minus. Only has been on the ice for 6 goals against at even strength this season. And let's also not talk about Sam Reinhart, what he's doing. Fifth in the NHL in points, third in the NHL in goals, and tied for first with the most multi-point games this season. It's just incredible for what this Florida Panthers team has done. I know this team has been mostly top heavy for the most part as far as the forward group, but they're getting contributions from the blue line as well. Only one player has more goals than Oliver Ekman-Larsson as far as defensemen, and that's Quinn Hughes. Only one person has more than OEL as far as that. So they got contributions of that, and got to give credit to the OELs, the Dmitry Kulikovs, what happened in the first 16 games before Brandon Montour and Aaron Ekblad came back to the lineup as well. And it's just about the other guys starting to get going. Eetu Luostarinen is now on a 2-game goal streak for the Panthers as well. Anton Lundell is now starting to get going as well for the Panthers. And it's just really been a lot of things plugging in and just going right for the Panthers. And that includes 7 of their last 9 games. The Panthers have gone perfect on the penalty kill after the team really struggled out of the gate, and 34 of 37 in that stretch, Gil.
Very impressive. And again, another reason why this team is winning. Talk to me about Reinhart on the power play, because he seems very lethal with the extra attacker.
Yeah, for the Panthers, it's just really about getting in out up front, and also the guys setting him up, and that includes Matthew Tkachuk as well, who just has so much great vision on the ice. When you get the pucks down low and you have so many eyes on Matthew Tkachuk, you have that opportunity right there to feed Sam Reinhart right in the bumper, and as well as having Alexander Barkov out on that flank as well, which is so much helpful for him. And we have to mention this: when players are in a contract year, that's when they step up the most. And Sam Reinhart is definitely in that category for the Panthers, and it's definitely looking great for him. As far as the Panthers' ability to afford him, that remains to be seen, with the cap going up $4.2 million as far as the projection. But right now, the Florida Panthers are really liking what they see in Sam Reinhart, as well as the guy who is there for rebound opportunities as well, and just has so much great vision as far as when he's going north-south, and then when you have an opportunity to when you're getting to the corner and an opportunity for a backhand feed in the middle, he just has so much great vision on the ice. And also to mention the other teammates for Sam Reinhart on the power play. Barkov today on Sunday got his first power play goal of the season.
Wow.
28 points in 24 games. And the Panthers aren't even at game 28. So just goes back to the whole defensive prowess for the Panthers that just that will eventually carry over to the offensive end as well. So just goes to show, even when one area of the ice isn't necessarily clicking, because of what the Panthers do defensively, eventually the goals will come for the Panthers.
About to head west for a long road trip. What are the keys to continued success when they're on the road out in California and the West Coast?
Yeah, it just comes down to scoring first and getting leads going into the second period as well, because the Panthers, they are 9-0-2 now when leading after period 1, and 12-0-2 when it's lead or tied. So that it just comes down to scoring first and getting up to a good start for the Panthers. And really, it's been how they've closed games as well. They, as far as forcing teams to the perimeter, that's really been the Panthers' bread and butter as far as late game situations. And I know we mentioned unsung heroes as far as Oliver Ekman-Larsson and Dmitry Kulikov, but I got to include someone like Kevin Stenlund. He's the only guy in the bottom 6 who has more than 5 goals on the season, and he's about to hit a career high as far as points. He's there in late situations when it comes to key defensive zone draws in order for the Panthers to get clears, and he's out on the main PK unit as well for the Panthers. Him and Eetu Luostarinen are 2 guys who are paired together as far as that. So it really comes down to continuing what you're doing whenever you're down a man, whether it's a 6-on-5 in late game situations, or whether you're on the PK, about just not overextending yourself and putting yourself out of position so that there aren't those easy rebound opportunities for opposing players. That's really what it comes down to. And thankfully for the Panthers, this next one against Seattle, Seattle's on a 6-game losing streak right now. Excuse me, 7 right now. So that's really going to be not it's not going to be an easy matchup because the Panthers, it's never easy to go out west, but thankfully they have that. But as far as what's coming up, it's going to be tough. The Edmonton Oilers are hot. The Vancouver Canucks are one of the best teams in the NHL. Look, it's crazy what happens when you have coaching behind the bench there as far as that. And it's not going to be easier as far as what the end of the road trip. Matthew Tkachuk once again making a return to Calgary, even though Calgary is still figuring things out as well. But so far, so good.
All right, Armando, why don't you tell our viewers and our listeners where they could find the podcast and where they could find you on social media?
They can follow me on X at Monoman12. Follow the show account on X and Instagram at LO_FLA Panthers. And come on down for the ride because this is a really fun hockey team to watch.
All right, Armando, thanks so much. Always a pleasure.
Thank you, Gil. Always a pleasure.
Today's episode is brought to you by eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. From superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. And with over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers.